captured by a U.S. Reaper drone shows a glowing orb off the coast of Yemen. Suddenly, on the left side of your screen, you see a Hellfire missile zip in, strike that unidentified object, then bounce right off it. When we slow the video down, you see the Hellfire missile continue to travel on its path, that trajectory becoming clearer from this zoomed-out angle. Not shown is a second Reaper drone that launched the missile. Congressman Eric Burleson shared the video at a House Oversight Committee on what the military calls unidentified aerial phenomena, better known as UFOs.
That's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
We've never seen a Hellfire missile hit a target and bounce off.
Lou Elizondo is a former senior intelligence officer with the Pentagon.
The Hellfire makes a hit, a kinetic strike on something solid. There's usually not much left of whatever it is it's hitting. It's very, very destructive. What seems to happen is that the missile is either redirected or in some case perhaps glances off the object and continues on its way.
A recent government report revealed the government received more than 750 new UAP sightings in the 2024 fiscal year, leaving lawmakers digging into the mystery and national security concerns posed by these objects.
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes. Yes.
Me too. So there's a lot missing from that video, like what mission they were on, and as they said, what are we even looking at here? Now, we do know the U.S. military is conducting regular airstrikes against Houthi targets that posed a threat to U.S. Navy and commercial vessels. Pentagon officials tell CBS News they have no comment.
We're an ICBM base where...
All right, Shalom. First offering of all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. And as always, peace and salutations to the elect. This is the brother Benaiah from the Great Millstone Dallas branch. It's going to be a quick lesson, which I'm sure you brothers and sisters have already seen, videos that brothers made about this clip that I just played. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on it, and ultimately how the Lord is showing Esau, you know what I'm saying, that he's truly not as powerful as he think he is, man. All right, and here it is. You have officials and, these particular people amongst the government, and also not only the U.S. government, but these the governments of the whole world, man. You see, he's talking about and being forced to talk about the Chariots, man. You see, because at one point, and we still, you still have people who mock and scoff when we bring, scriptures out, when we tell them that these so-called UFOs are really the chariots of the Most High, and who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ is coming back on what the world calls a UFO. They laugh at us, man. But here it is. The Lord is making it more, all right, and more clearer that what the prophets are saying is true, man. Ultimately at the end of the day. But I want to grab this scripture real quick to start off with. And I'm going to go back because I have another clip that I want to play. But this is Psalms chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 19. And it's going to be in the GNT. It says, "Come, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, don't let anyone defy you. Salakia, bring the heathen before you and pronounce judgment on them." This is the point. Make them afraid, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Make them know that they are only mortal beings. Right, and that's exactly what the Lord is doing, you see. Because Esau is he boasts in his military might, he boasts in his weaponry. And here it is, as y'all see from that clip, like that one dude was explaining, man, when a Hellfire missile hits something, there's usually nothing really left, all right, of what it was meant to strike. But from that clip, it just bounced straight off the chariot, man, and the chariot kept flying like it was nothing, you see. And like all those officials were saying, she was asking them, that one lady was asking them, are y'all afraid? And all of them said yes. How much more these top rich international banking families, man? You know what I'm saying? Because they know, all right, they know that these so-called UAPs are the chariots of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, and they know their destiny according to the scriptures, man. And then let me say this too, they in order to tell a lie, you have to know the truth, man. You see, so they know the truth, you see. But here it is. The Lord has still put the spirit in them he's still going to put the spirit in them to fight against him. And we see Esau preparing the minds of the people. You know what I'm saying? It's more and more articles coming out about, these objects that they seeing, that Esau is seeing in space. I think it's called like the Atlas something. You know what I'm saying? I forgot the actual name of it, but it's a chariot, man. You see, they talking about is 7,000 miles long. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming in space. It'll be here in November. Or, you know what I'm saying? And all this. But the Lord is making them. And Esau has to address this, man. He can no longer hide it anymore. All right. He can no longer hide what's truly going on, man. You see? But let's grab another scripture real quick. Matter of fact, I want to play this video. I'm going to play a little bit of this video, and then I'm going to grab a couple of more scriptures.
They did find stuff. There was an incident in October of 1982 over at ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together, they'd appear and disappear, and right at the end.
Right, he said they perform particular maneuvers, and that reminds me of this scripture real quick. I want to grab it, and I'm gonna come back to this video in Isaiah chapter 31. It says, as birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh Shemel of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it. You see? So like he was saying, man, here it is. These chariots were able to multiply. You know what I'm saying? One multiplying into many, and they're doing particular maneuvers. And it's another clip also of a chariot actually shooting down a missile, man. He's riding right beside the missiles and shooting beams at it, man. You see? Matter of fact, real quick, let me see because I know I had pulled it up. Let's see. Here we go, right here. Look at this, man. Right, so there you have it, man. You see, so the Lord has been showing them, and like this man was saying, it was over a nuclear silo over in Russia, man. You see, and it was doing all these things. Well, I'm gonna wind them and let them explain it again. All right.
They did find stuff. There was an incident in October of 1982 over at ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together, they'd appear and disappear. And right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down.
Man, you can't tell me, hey, the Lord is showing this. The Lord is showing these niggas, man. The Lord is showing them that he's only a mere mortal being, man. You see, like this man was saying, it said for 4 hours these chariots was over this site, but performing all these maneuvers and doing everything like that. So they have more footage on these things, man. But they're not going to release it. It's only going to be certain thing released. But going back to the point, he said now after those 4 hours, the chariots activated the launch sequence, man, and they put in the correct codes and everything, man. Here these are top secret things that that these officials have amongst certain few in their government. You know what I'm saying? In order to just in case they have to actually launch a missile and strike somebody. You know what I'm saying? Nuclear war, right? So these codes are they top secret, man. You see, but here it is. These chariots was able to turn it on and then put in the right password, the codes, man. You see, so it reminds me of that instant in what is that? I think it's 1st and 2nd Kings when the king of Syria was trying to come against the northern kingdom, man. You see, and ultimately Elisha ended up spoiling his plans, and the king of Syria got pissed off and was like, man, who the hell told him what was going on? You know what I'm saying? And that's when one of his servants was like, man, the angel, basically like an angel, man, like because he was explaining that in his bed chambers, man, like that servant was saying, man. You see, how did somebody know what he was saying in secret, man? What the angels do. You see, and the angels knew these codes and actually activated that nuclear launch sequence, man. You see?
Officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it. First.
Man, you see? So there you go, man. That shows you the power that Yahweh Shemi Hawashai possesses, man. You see, and he's showing these top elite banking families, he's showing these governments of the world that they ain't nothing, man. So let's go back to this Isaiah real quick. I'll read verse 5 and I'm gonna jump up to verse 3. But it says, matter of fact, I'm gonna read this. Let's jump up to verse 3 and I'm gonna go back to verse 5. Isaiah 31:3, it says, now the Egyptians are man and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh Shemi Hawashai shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. Right, because we know that these nations are going to come and try to fight against the Lord, man, when he returns. You see, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 tells you that. You see, what is it? Revelation chapter 1. All right, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. When the Lord comes, Second Ezra chapter 13 is a continuation of what John was seeing. And 2nd Ezra 13 just goes into deeper detail on what actually took place from that short verse that John had mentioned, all right, in Revelation chapter 1. All right, about the Lord coming with clouds and everybody, every eye shall see him. You see, he's coming to wage war. And when the Lord comes, these nations are going to gather themselves together, like it says in Revelation 2nd Ezra chapter 13. But it says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 5 again. It says, as birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh Shemi Hawashai of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he would deliver it, and passing over it, he will preserve it. Right. So I want to get this word, because I thought this was very interesting. And this word, preserve it, he shall preserve. Right. It's my Strong's H4422. It says malat. It says to slip away, to escape, to deliver, to save. But when you go down to the Strong's definition, it says to escape as if by slipperiness. I think I'm saying that right. It says to release or rescue. It says specifically to bring forth young. But this is the point, as you can see, to emit sparks. You see, so it's going to be to emit spark. What is this going into? Those laser beams, man. That Yahweh Shemi Hawashai is going, that these chariots are going to be shooting out, man. Already into the defense of the elect, man. You see. Because like I said, as birds flying, these chariots are going to be getting busy for the elect's sake as well. All right, so let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. All right. And I'll start at the top. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the ways thereof. Right. Now, what is this talking about? Is it talking about the actual sea? No, this is talking about the heavens, man. You see, the Shemayims, the waters. All right. Verse 3, it says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Right. Showing you that this is not actually talking about the sea. All right. This is talking about the actual ocean, but it's talking about the heavens. Yahweh Shai is going to come from the heavens, man. You see, everything that's seen under him shall tremble. You see, showing you that he's coming from a higher position. Right. It says in verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. Right. To emit those sparks, like we just read. But it's going to continue to back that point up. It says, verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number. It says, from the four winds of heaven to subdue that man that came out of the sea. Right. Like we just read in Isaiah 31 in verse 3. You see, about all those that hoping, coming together to fight against Yahushua. You see, they going to fail together, like it said. It says, and I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. What is that? That chariot, that fathership. All right. It says, and I would have seen the region and place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Showing you how big that chariot was. All right. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, was so afraid and yet durst fight. Right, because these officials, like we seen in that video, they're afraid of what they're seeing. You see how much more when Yahushua truly reveals himself and the power that he's coming with, man. You see, because they're only seeing a few chariots, man. They're not seeing that, and look at the power that they have, man. How much more Yahushua when he comes, man, with the whole army. It's gonna shake the earth, man. You see, and then when you seen that hellfire missile bounce off the chariot, like it kind of broke pieces off that missile, and those fragments that from that missile started gravitating around the chariot like it had its own gravitational pull, man. You see, so it said, let me jump down to go back to the point. Well, I'll keep going. Verse 9, I'm going to jump down. Verse 9, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instruments of war, but only, this is the point, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Right. Going back into that definition that we read, man, to emit sparks. You see, he's going to preserve you. Hey, these chariots going to be getting busy, man. All right. They're going to be shooting out laser beams, man, and turning niggas into powder. Real quick, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon chapter, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 in verse, I'm going to start up a little bit. I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand, going unto the elect. All right. You can read about that, the crowning in 2nd Ezra chapter 2. It says, for with his right hand shall he cover them. All right. It says, and with his arm shall he protect them. Right. Yahushua. You see, 2nd Ezra chapter 2 goes into that too. You know what I'm saying? About how he's going to cover our children, that they should not see hell. The heathen going to be envious of the elect, and they're going to be able to do nothing against them. 2nd Ezra chapter 16. You know what I'm saying? Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your God, and the God of them that keep his commandments. Psalms 91. The Lord is going to give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in thy way. You see? So that's that hand, or that's that arm protecting them, which is the elect. All right. Verse 17, it says, and he shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemy. Right. This is going into Yahushua, man. You see, who is the creature? The creature is going to be us, man. Didn't the Lord say he's going to make us a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth? You see, and we're going to beat these mountains to powder, man, roughly paraphrasing. You see, it says, because, hey, man are going on the planet Earth, are going to get spiritual plows, man. That standard is going to be lifted, like it says in Isaiah 59. All right. In verse, I think 19, if I'm not mistaken. All right. It says, and he shall put on righteousness as a breastplate and true judgment instead of an helmet. And he shall take holiness as an invincible shield. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. But this is the point. It says, then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, it says, and from the clouds as from a well-drawn bow shall they fly to the mark. There you go. You see, so there were those right aiming thunderbolts going into those sparks, those laser beams, man. You see, so Esau knows his end, bro. All right. And these top elite banking families are scared, man. And that it ain't good for their ass, man, because the Lord is going to come back, man, and you niggas is going into captivity. You see? But this is just more proof, man, of the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man. These chariots, bro. You know? Look at that, man. You know, hey, man, it's so much that these elites, all right, and these top officials of these governments that the Lord is showing these niggas, man. All right, that's why they do. That's why they moving like they moving, man. You see, they scared, man, and good and rightfully so. You see, because the rising up of the elect is a downfall of their kingdom, man. All right, I didn't want to make this too long, Lord. Wouldn't this lesson was edifying? All right, I want to give matter of fact, let's pull this real quick. I ended off on this. Man. Isaiah chapter 47 in verse 3. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. All right. And the Lord is not going to meet them as a man. All right. I had made mention of that clip from that movie, The Predator, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you had that Gadite, Billy. You know what I'm saying? He was known amongst the group for not being afraid of nothing. And it got to a point to where, you know, they were being hunted down by the predator, and they didn't know what it was yet. You know what I'm saying? And Billy was just looking off in the distance, man. And one of the dudes was asking him, like, man, what's wrong? And Billy told him, the Gadite told him, look, man, I'm scared. And that one Edomite told him, bullshit. You ain't scared of no man. You know, when Billy told him, man, that this not a man. You see? So Yahweh Shai is not gonna meet you niggas as a man, dog. He's not gonna meet, all right, this earth as a man. You see, he's gonna come back in his angelic form with the powers of the heaven, man, with the whole army. You see, a straight overkill, man. And he's gonna show his power, man. You see, and every knee shall bow, thus saith the scriptures. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, the great millstone, the teaching were well. As always, peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.